Hello, it's Travis Cook here of Learning How to Think. It's the 13th of August 2020, and things here in the UK seem to have come to a bit of a stalemate. The government isn't at least pushing out more regulations as far as I can see, but there are still some places that aren't opened, and some places that have been opened with such huge amounts of restriction that it's going to really harm their business. But I am hoping that we break out of this as fast as possible. I don't see why we have to. The only reason I see why we have to go through this as a human race, as a country, is because people need to wake the fuck up. I think that could be why this is happening on a higher perspective. Because I don't tend to fall into the whole doom and gloom, everyone's going to die and we're fucked mentality. So I try and find the positive what's going on right now, and it does seem that people just need to wake up. Anyone who hasn't woken up yet has to wake up. And at the moment it's really, really easy to wake up. But hey, maybe it will become even easier. I mean, I'm kind of curious how these next 3 months are going to go, because I wonder what's going to happen to this whole virus thing after the elections in the United States. Because there's so much evidence for me that shows that this has just been orchestrated to try to influence the elections this year. So, and also, it does look like we're winning. The good guys are winning, the bad guys are losing, and they've just enacted their scorched earth policy, whereby they tried to destroy anything that's valuable for the enemy, as they can see that the writing's on the wall for them, so they have no other option but to lash out like a dying beast. In fact, a few days ago, I was contemplating quite deeply what was going on in the world, and I must have been there for a while, and I've had these. I don't know if you'd call them a vision. I guess it's kind of like a vision. I saw something and it described what I was contemplating in a beautiful way. And I was, so it was like I was just watching this huge beast, and it was dying, and it was just falling around, stumbling around, trying to grab hold onto anything and anyone that could, sort of stop it falling as it died. And we can help the process along a little bit, but we just have to watch it die and not get in the way as it dies, and make the best of the situation, because it's been, this beast has been around for a long time, and we're seeing the end of it, and it's pretty rough, but it's kind of beautiful at the same time, because to be alive at this time right now and planet Earth, it's incredible. You should be truly honored and truly grateful, and you truly must be of at least some form of caliber of a person or a soul to be able to qualify to come here for these times, because it's pretty turbulent. Yeah, so that was what I was seeing, and it really made sense, and it gave me a bit of reassurance, because I've been contemplating, I've been seeing all the suffering around me and all of the bullshit that's so easy to see right now, and I was just contemplating how can I help that, and to have the knowledge that, well, I can't guarantee this is happening. This is just what I saw, but to have this and to see and to feel that feels very accurate. It's very reassuring. So there are some that are saying, when you look into the whole QAnon, that essentially they have all the cards. The whole Obamagate thing, the indictments that have been sealed, the criminal prosecutors supposedly already have all the information. The only reason it's being allowed to play out is because people need to see this. People need to wake up, which is great that people are waking up, because I've been also contemplating, where will we go? So just hypothetically, if QAnon is real and it's managed to spread around the world, and the people, we rise up, we overthrow this globalist system, and we put all the bad guys in jail, and we must have, by doing so, hopefully we have also achieved a high enough being as a race to not have the same mistakes happen again. So then where do we go from here? Well, then you just sort of let your imagination run wild, really, as we enter into a golden age. But I suppose it'll probably take a little while to sort of iron out all of the creases of the previous system and get rid of all the little pockets of darkness, or at least reduce the darkness to a manageable level, as opposed to where it is right now, where it's, for some stupid reason, it seems to have control over all the many of the key positions and figures throughout the world's government, medical systems, banking systems, etc., etc. So I believe we're witnessing the end of this system, which is really, really awesome to see. Also, I recently watched a good episode of the UK Column where they that spoke about how, or they used the terminology that our government has we've experienced a coup in our government. We've been taken over by I would say just the globalists, but maybe a couple of levels down, it's the CCP. But yeah, I don't think it's been a complete takeover, but a big part of it's been taken over, and I don't know how long ago this happened. And it might not even be that many, but just the right few key individuals. And then I reckon a portion of those that have been compromised are stuff like the honeypot stuff. Why Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were arrested. They do these, like, if you don't know what a honeypot is, where they blackmail high-profile individuals doing terrible things like paedophilia and shit like that, and they use that as blackmail. And so basically that figure is now totally in their control, and you can imagine what they would do to make sure that they don't. Imagine if their entire lives would be destroyed if this information gets out. So that's the idea. So imagine we have some of those people in our government. They're never going to get them set. They're never going to step down. They're never going to stop, because they know what happens if they do. So I think it's good to think about this, because these are the kind of people we could have telling us what to do in our government by this globalist system, and they have been totally honeypotted. So they're by the balls themselves. Either that, or they're just totally psychopathic and actually agree with what these people are trying to implement. I couldn't say through how much of which of one or the other in our government. I'm sure there are a lot of good people that are actually within our government, and a bunch of people as well that have just been fooled and tricked by this current way of life. But I don't know. I'd rather see politicians, that don't come from the same fucking university. I'd rather see politicians that have lived 20 years, 25 years, like as somebody's worked as a plumber or in the supermarket. I'd rather vote for somebody who has been way more in touch with the majority of how the people live in this country, just so they can understand, because I don't feel like you can relate enough if you've had a life of absolute luxury when you're trying to deal with a country when the vast majority of people don't live in the same standards of living that you had. That's just my perspective. It doesn't have to be like that. I'm not saying that there are plenty of wealthy people that are good people. It just kind of would be nice, maybe just for a bit of variance, a little bit of to keep it real. But hey, as long as of course the most ultimate thing is how good the person is, what their policies are, and how genuine they are, and if they're not corrupt, regardless of how much money they've had. But I still feel to have some more of those kind of folk in amongst all of this would be really quite beneficial, I believe. And maybe we can have better systems like this in the future when we shake off this fucked up system. But yeah, I know it can look real hard, especially if you've already woken up. But it's sort of, if you've already on the journey of awakening, shall we say, you are at a huge advantage in situations like this, because you can understand everything so much better, and you have a way better perspective on what's going on, and helps you to deal with things a lot better. And I'm actually starting to believe that I slightly altered the timeline here in the UK, along with probably others who didn't want to wear the mask in supermarkets. But when that information first come out that it was going to be 11 days until the mask mandate came in the shops. Well, I experimented with some reality creation here, and this is a very broad subject, and there's a very careful way of doing this, and I do believe it requires a certain amount of evolution in the raising your vibes whilst in a meditative state can take a lot of practice. For me, I've had hundreds and hundreds of hours of stilling my mind, relaxing my body, and raising my vibes, getting energy flowing. And I believe all of this, as well as my intention behind it all, and going through all of these experiences and challenges and tests I have since I first started my awakening journey 8 years ago, has put me in a position where I can at least have some. It's like I've been granted some free will permission to alter reality by reality itself because of my spiritual progression and my progression as a human and my progression of evolution, which is something I've dedicated myself to a long time ago and put so much effort and time in. So I believe that has rewards, and this could be altering the timeline in interesting ways. And so I did this reality creation where I saw myself walking in the supermarket with no mask on, no problem, and I felt what it was like. I got myself into a very high vibe before I did this very long meditation, very good meditation, and relaxed. And I even thought about trying to get a U-turn on the whole policy, but I didn't quite succeed on that, but I can mention about that in a minute. So yeah, I did this, and I also made videos about it. If you guys follow my channel, you'd see. And I was talking to everybody about it, and I was frequently going over like what I would do when I'm confronted, or if I was confronted at the store, and how I would handle it. I didn't obsess over it though, but I was, it frequently came up. I wasn't panicked. I actually felt very empowered and strong. Like, no, this. And then, lo and behold, on the day of the mandate, I read that amazing article saying how there are 3 major UK retailers not going to be mandating the mask. And since then, I've had no problem. Any shops, small shops, big shops, people have been fine. So that's really great. And I feel, did I slightly alter the timeline there? Like, was I also, tapping into all the energies of people who didn't, have the same sort of reality that I wanted to create? They didn't want to wear the fucking mask in shops. Maybe they've already woken up. They don't need the masks. So why would they have to wear the mask? They don't. So they get the choice. Maybe I slightly altered the timeline. What would have happened if I had just, put my hands up, shrug my shoulders, and think, fuck it, the government's going to put it in, nothing I can do. It could be a very different world. And that little, if the government can't get any further now, it seems like they've stopped. That's what it's like. They've had to stop. I don't know if it's because the public have had enough, or because they realise they can't push too much, and they have to, because there's some brilliant psychological chess playing out here on the UK. So I'm trying to figure out what the moves are, and if it's because when they need to cut a bit of calm before they ramp up the fear, or if they actually realised maybe we shouldn't be scaring the fuck out of everybody and we should get back to a normal way of life. So I'm not sure. But yeah, so we're a bit of a stalemate. Maybe I could try some more experimenting, but I've got to be careful with this, because people may need this current situation to wake up, but I'm sure that there are plenty who don't want or need this current situation to continue their spiritual progression. Like, humanity's going through a huge initiation right now, and it really, people just have to wake up. So yeah, anyone who's already on their journey is already doing the good work. We just have to sort of stay out of the way of this dying beast, essentially, and then hopefully we come out of it the other side strong and empowered and ready to create a golden age. But yeah, that's all for me, guys. I'll be moving soon to the background of change this coming Monday, and I'm going to be celebrating my birthday with my family. I haven't seen them in a while, so that'd be nice. I'm not sure if I'll make a video whilst I'm with my family. We'll see. But yeah, until next time, guys, stay strong, and I'll see you then.